whose lives depend on accurate identification are frequently witnessing these phenomena. Parts of our government are aware of more about UAP than they let on, but excessive classification practices keep crucial information hidden.
All right, Ryan Graves kind of jolted the world, certainly in Washington, where they were looking at very real evidence that aliens not only exist, but we have the proof. He joins us right now. Ryan, the reaction you got was one of shock and awe, I think, of Nancy Mace and others who almost couldn't respond with some of your revelations. A lot of others said, not true, it's not nearly as detailed or outlined as Ryan presented it. What do you say?
Well, I think we can just reference the story that Representative Gates told during the hearing himself. Him and other representatives went down to an Air Force base in Florida to attempt to speak to various pilots who had reached out because they had been observing objects on their radars and on their camera systems that they couldn't explain, that they felt was a safety risk, and they were not in a position that they felt safe to be able to report that. In fact, it was reported that they felt more comfortable destroying those tapes than to sit through a potential very long debrief to discuss the issue. So this is something that pilots are dealing with. This is something that they do not have the proper safety channels to report. And that's really what I'm looking to push forward out of this conversation, this hearing.
Well, what struck me is when you referred to recovering non-human bodies. Could you explain that?
Well, that was the testimony of Mr. Grush under oath, and he sounded like he was prepared to present information related to that in a closed session to Congress. But from my personal experience, we were seeing objects on a daily basis that we couldn't attribute to any of our assets, our technology, or our capabilities. And right now, the commercial pilots that are dealing with this don't feel comfortable reporting it, and that's a problem.
Now, Ryan, there was other presentations that looked at evidence of former aircraft, whatever you want to call it, and that we have even these non-human bodies. So what's wrong if the gig is up and all of a sudden they have to admit it and have to show people that? What would be the harm?
Well, I think that there is a process of declassification that would have to occur and that it would have to consider very closely national security considerations. But with that being said, there is a process being put forward right now that's been attached to the National Defense Authorization Act of 2024, next year's NDAA, that states exactly this. It's called the Disclosure Act of 2023. It creates a review panel that will create a disclosure process that will review this information. It will determine whether it is a national security issue or not, and then it will disclose that information to the public. And so to your point, I think there are processes being put in place right now to help people understand exactly what the government is seeing.
Very quickly, Ron, any thought to the possibility this could be stuff of ours or stuff of China's or Russia's, and we're attributing it to outside forces?
Well, right now, it's a conversation about uncertainty. We have to be diligent about what's flying in our airspace, whether that's China, our own assets, or something else. It's just a matter of national security.
Got it. Ryan, thank you very much. You mesmerized the nation. Ryan Graves, stake his reputation, his honor on it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.